that was sweet. Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and if this is your first time here, or you've been here before but haven't subscribed yet, please do so, along with turning on the notification bell so you are alerted when I drop a video like this one, which is late. It's late, had some family obligations, could not put the recap out earlier, and I wanted to rewatch the second half in the overtime. Actually, my son was in Thailand. He was returning last night, so I had to go pick him up, and he wanted to watch it too. So we rewatched it this morning, and I'm so glad I did. What an interesting game. This was the second game of a back-to-back on the road for the Knicks. They played in Orlando on Friday night, came up to D.C., I think landed really late, 2:30 in the morning or something like that. And even though the Wizards didn't have, their technically two best scorers, Kuzma and Poole, playing, they had a lot of young guys out there, and those we know are dangerous teams for the Knicks, especially on the second game of a back-to-back. Could have been a trap game. And it was interesting because this game had 25 lead changes. That's right, 12 ties, and the longest run in this game was a 12-0 run by the Washington Wizards. And somehow the New York Knicks were able to overcome it, pull off their 7th straight win, their 7th straight road win. They are now 12-2 in their last 14 games, and they are on a roll. Now, the schedule has been weak-ish as of late, but this is what you have to do. When your schedule is weak, you have to feast, and that's what the New York Knicks have done. It was close. Got to hand it to the Washington Wizards. Those young guys were out there. Justin Champagnie, he got a career high, of course. Career high Knicks bestow that award upon Champagnie last night. And interestingly also, he did not take the last shot to win and avoid going to overtime. Not sure what the coach was thinking there. We'll find out. We'll break it down. I got highlights for you guys. Let's get going. I have not mentioned one thing yet because I'm sure all of you have heard about it by now. Jalen Brunson was brilliant last night, especially in the second half in OT. He scored 55 points. Only Bernard King has more 50-point games in orange and blue than Jalen Brunson. And Jalen Brunson's only played, this is his 2.5 season. He's only played 2.5 seasons. So there's still time for him to tie Bernard and maybe even eclipse him, which honestly, I would love to see. Bernard King was one of my favorite. He probably is my favorite Knick after Walt Clyde Frazier. But I was a very, very young boy when Clyde was playing. So, obviously I loved the winning. I loved his style, everything about that. But when I really was, after I learned how to play the game and became fascinated with it, Bernard King was my guy. Now Jalen Brunson is my guy. I love the way this guy's approaching his Wervish Dervish moves in the paint are back. He was able to deliver buckets for the Knicks when they desperately needed them. And this is a game when the New York Knicks, in the third quarter, when they allowed that 12-0 run between the 3:48 mark and 1 minute in the game, it was Brunson who came back in and helped settle it down to whittle away that 11-point lead, that 12-point, actually it was an 11-point deficit, whittle that down to 8 going into the fourth quarter. And then it became the Karl Anthony Towns show. He dominated that those first 4 minutes of the fourth quarter. He scored 10 points. He scored his 30th point. He finished with 30 points in this game. And that 30th point was scored with 7 minutes left in regulation time. So that means for the last 12 minutes of the game, he did not score. And why? Because the Wizards started doubling him off ball. And they would do it by basically putting satellites around him so that the vision was obstructed, the ability to get the ball to him was obstructed. And the beautiful thing, what happened was it completely unleashed the brilliance, the Brunson burner. The man went for a 55-piece. Outstanding. Look at this shit. 55 points with still 9 dimes on 58% field goal shooting. And what he did from the free throw line is essential. From the free throw line, the man shot 16 of 17, 94.1%, which honestly was absolutely needed because the man has been struggling a little bit at times from the free throw line. He's been inconsistent, missing key shots. Against Toronto, he shot only 40% from the free throw line. Against Detroit, he shot 66%. Against Orlando, 78%. And against Toronto, again, on the 23rd, the game before the Christmas game, he shot 50%. Dude's been struggling from the free throw line. And also, and against Orlando, he was 4 of 6. So to have him come through with a 16 of 17 night, perfect time for it to happen. The man, he is a superstar. And he's definitely the best point guard in the Eastern Conference. We all got to vote. Vote. Get out your phones right now while you're listening to this. If you're listening to it on your phone, just swipe up, let the video play, and go to NBA.com and vote for him. Vote for all 5 Knicks starters. Why not? Vote for all 5 Knicks starters because something has happened here. Let me jump to this. Oh, here we go. Peter Bott tweeted this out. Crazy stat on MSG just now. The Knicks are the first team in NBA history to have 4 different players with 40 or more points in one game before January 1st. Now, I know that's kind of written kind of oddly, but it is correct. Meaning, they've each had a 40-point game before January 1st this season. Look at this. OG against Denver, a 40-piece. Bridges against San Antonio, a 41-piece. Cat has done it twice. He lit the Heat up for 44 points, and then he lit up the Bulls for 46 points. And tonight, it was Jalen Brunson's night. 55 points. It's interesting to think that he did not have a 40-point game, 40-plus game yet this season. Now he's got a 55-pointer. My God, this team is truly something interesting, and they're still working through a lot of issues and kinks. I can't wait to see what they're going to look like, like in February, in March, or even next month. Hopefully, actually, next month begins very soon. It's December 29th right now. Only 2 more days left for this year. This 2024 calendar year for Knicks and Knicks fans has been outstanding. I can't wait. I can't wait for more. Let's keep going here. Bridges, just a cap on him in December. Look what he's averaging. 22.7 points per game on 46.9% from the three-point line. Almost 47% from the three-point line. 69 true shooting percentage. And still picking up 3.5 assists per game. And his defense has picked up tremendously. There were moments last night he got burned by Coulibaly, and I think it was Coulibaly was the one that I really noticed, and that one really hurt. But more often than not, he is taking care of business. He's getting steals. He's getting swipes. Last night, how many steals did he end up with last night? He ended up with 3 steals. 3 steals, no blocks, but 3 steals. Nice. The New York Knicks ended up with 7 steals and only 3 blocks. Towns got credited for 2 blocks. I could swear I saw him get at least 4 blocks. I don't know how they do this, but that's how they're doing it now. Let's get here. Before we get to the highlights, look at the standings. The New York Knicks currently sit comfortably in 3rd place. Ooh, look at that. They're 3.5 games in front of Orlando, who are in 4th, and they play Orlando again on January 6th. So if we win, that could even extend further. We are just 1 win behind the Boston Celtics, 2 wins behind them in the loss column. The New York Knicks are 1.5 games back of 2nd place. And the Cleveland Cavaliers, who I thought were going to begin to cool off, have not. They continue to take care of business. They are 27-4, an 87.1 win percentage. That's outstanding. And they lead the Knicks by 5.5 games in the Eastern Conference. Now, 5.5 games, it's a decent amount, but the way the Knicks are surging now that have won 12 out of their last 14, this could really, by the end of January, Knicks could be right there nipping at the Cleveland Cavaliers' heels the way they are nipping at the Celtics' heels. I'm expecting some things to happen. I'm expecting some trades to occur, I'm expecting it to happen in January because they had so much success trading for OG. It's almost the 1-year anniversary on December 30th was the 1 year anniversary. I think, yeah, it was of the OG, the RJ and Manuel Quickley go to Toronto for OG Anunoby trade. I think because that was so beneficial, and Leon has shown that he likes to make key trades early. The Knicks do need something else. They need some additional scoring and defending on any position. It doesn't matter. Any position could do it. Now, we did get Landry Shamet back. He hasn't played too much. He played only 6.5 minutes last night. Only took one shot attempt. I don't know why Thibs didn't go to him more. And it's one thing. The minutes is also becoming distressing, which is another reason why Leon needs to force Thibs to extend his rotation, especially now. I see the logic that he has been using. He's like, you know what? This is a new starting unit. 2 new guys are in there, even though McCall has played with Brunson and Josh Hart before, not as a pro. So, and plus he had to find himself. He had to find what kind of role he's going to play. Now he's figured out a version of the best role player in the NBA when he was with the Phoenix Suns and a top-notch defender, combining that with the Brooklyn Bridge version in year 1 where he was the go-to guy. And so I think he's found a happy medium right now. But the minutes load is gonna wear this team down, especially those starters, down eventually. I believe that there is a tweet going around. Let me see here. Yes, here we go. Actually, it's Tommy Beer who tweeted this out. Of the top 6 minutes, most minutes played in the NBA this season, the Knicks have 4. 4 of the top 6. Mikal Bridges is number 1. He's played 1,254 minutes. De'Aaron Fox is number 2 at 1,192. OG Anunoby is number 3 with 1,164 minutes. Josh Hart is number 4 with 1,045 minutes. Halliburton is number 5 with 1,124. And Jalen Brunson is 6 with 1,115. That's too many minutes. That's too much of a minutes load on your starters. And then this, especially when you consider this was the second game of a back-to-back. To play guys, I mean, OG played 42 minutes. Towns played almost 44 minutes. Hart played 39 minutes, but Bridges played almost 47 minutes. And Brunson played 44 minutes. That's going to destroy your starters eventually. And I think that's why we see those lulls. And I also think it's one of the reasons why Cat can't be the fierce rim protector that we need him to be for the whole game. I think he commits silly fouls early in the game, so then that starts compromising him. And then there are periods where, he's carrying the load on the offense and he just can't get back in time defensively. Because if he's finishing at the hoop, that extra second and a half, 2 seconds, whatever it takes him to gather himself and get up and start running back across, ball's already on the other end, and then boom, there's no one there to defend the paint, and they either can penetrate and the Knicks defenders collapse and leave guys wide open on the 3-point line, so the ball goes out and they get clean 3-point looks. And the Wizards are one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the NBA, and they shot 44.7% last night, 17 of 38. The New York Knicks, They at least they shot more 3-pointers than they did the previous game in Orlando, where they had like a NBA low of 15 3-point attempts, but they only connected on 4 of those or something. It was something tragic. But last night they only shot 25%, but at least they put up 40. They hit 10 of them. It keeps you at least close enough. But man, was those free throws the story. Beautiful, beautiful. So back to the main concern. The main concern is getting Thibs to play other guys. So his whole thing is, hey, if I take this guy out, and I put another guy in, the other guy's not as good. I can't go with it that long. And he starts panicking. And, we've seen him where the Knicks could have a 25-point lead in the fourth quarter, and he still leaves his starters in because he's so petrified that the second unit is not going to take care of business. And as of late, our guys have been struggling a little bit of late, and we'll get to that. But let's continue now. Let's go to the highlights. Here we go. The New York Knicks got off to kind of a rocky start here. Basically, the Wizards, they led the entire first quarter. They even built up, had an 9-point lead at one time. But the Knicks were able to whittle that down. Put this over here. Let that play. Well, see, look at this. We were down 9. 14-5 early. And I was really worried. I was like, God, we look slow, lethargic. Oh, look at that. We can't even stop anybody on a fast break. We lost the fast break battle. Valanciunas, I got to say, I know there's rumors about him, maybe him as a possible trade candidate to the Knicks. Well, if tonight is any indication, he was completely ineffectual, especially against Karl Anthony Towns. He did a few things here and there, but I don't think he's the answer for us at the center position. He even only played 4.5 minutes there for them. Let's see what else. Oh, and what a Towns. Towns didn't have a big first. Actually, I didn't even think he even got the ball for a long time. The Knicks got off to a good start in the first quarter from the three-point line, though. They connected on 4 of 7. They shot 57.1% there. They shot 60% overall, but only had 20 shot attempts in that first quarter. The Knicks went down. It was 33-32 by the end of the first quarter, and then the second quarter kicked in. And that is when the Knicks were able to at least hang in. There was a lot of lead changes back and forth. But look at that, man. When you have guys like that hitting three-pointers, it's a bit demoralizing. Oh, look at Josh Hart. Josh Hart, I will get to him, man. That was his only bucket in that second quarter. Boom, look at this. Sends it up to Towns. Nice how he gets him involved. Towns had a big 12 points in that second quarter. He really helped the Knicks basically recapture, bring it to a tie at the end of the first half. The interesting thing to note about Jalen Brunson's 55 points, he had 0 in the second quarter. So it was the Karl Anthony Towns show there, and Karl Anthony Towns played all 12 minutes of that second quarter. Whew, man, that's nuts when you start thinking about it that way. And he picked up 6 rebounds there, 2 assists. Only 1 turnover in that second quarter. Now we move into this third quarter here, where I was mentioning before, the third quarter, it was pretty much back and forth. Let me get this here. And the Knicks were able to take the lead at one point with about 5 minutes left in this quarter. Boom, right there. Big three-point shot by Brunson. Brunson comes in. And then over here, Brogdon hits a big three-pointer. OG got beat on the turn there. OG, shockingly, was the only starter in negative plus-minus. And there's Koulibaly stroking the three-pointer. Oh, this was that run. We just missed that run. That was the 12-0 run. The Knicks are now down by 8. Then it went to 11. But Brunson comes back into the game. Oh, this was also disturbing here. Champagny, a great game for him, career night. But then Brunson comes down. He's able to at least cut that 10-point deficit down to just 8. And now we go to the fourth quarter, and now it becomes, well, Brunson strokes this, but then it becomes the Karl Anthony Towns show. Over here, I think he hits a 3 right here. Boom. Beautiful. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Here we go. And then, look at that. Beautiful little hook, little baby hook. And then the Knicks took the lead on that shot by Towns. That was his last points he scored. And then the New York Knicks fall behind again. After taking that 1-point lead, they end up with a 7-point deficit at one point with about 3 minutes left in this game. I think here, boom, right there. That's it. 4 minutes left. So now you're wondering, okay, but look, how they're doubling Cat right there. They were doubling Cat down on the block. So Brunson just takes it in. He's like, okay, you're going to do that? You're going to leave me one-on-one? I'm going to cook you guys. Now, I got to say, the coach of the Wizards, I can't even remember his name, interesting choice to leave his guys out on Brunson Island by themselves. Did not work tonight. Did not work. So now the game is 117-114. They hit that with 1 minute left. Their Knicks are down 5 points in the fourth quarter, and then it becomes the Brunson show. He connects on all 5 points. He hit the and one right there. So now we're just down 2. We were able to get the stop on the other end. Great defensive play. I wish they had shown that. And then Brunson with the big left glove. Look at that mitt. Look at that mitt. Look at him getting in there. Beautiful. Almost an offensive interference there. Hart was just ready to touch the ball, but he was able to hold back. That one would have been beautiful. I think the ball should have been thrown a little higher, but the angle was difficult for the inbound passer, and now begins overtime, which is basically Brunson time. Whoa, that was Bridges. Beautiful backdoor cut there. The cutting right now lately for the Knicks is at just an outstanding level. See here, Brunson was delivered 9 points in overtime, and Josh Hart was the second leading scorer there with 6 points himself. And once again, he is such a dog on the court. He basically won us the game against the Magic in the previous night, but just sheer hustle and grit. Here we come. Oh, look at that play. That was outstanding. Was that Koulibaly? Can't remember who that was. But the Wizards, they're 5. They have only got 5 wins, but they beat the Nuggets. They beat the Hornets twice, and then who did they beat in December? They beat someone significant in December. They just have those nights when things click for them, but that O for November destroyed their record, which is fine because they're basically going to trade whatever pieces they have before the deadline. Okay, so the ending got a little choppy, but this was a beautiful play. Just run, pass. And then here, did Josh Hart cross the half-court line? Establish? Almost. But they called a foul on the defender on Brunson. Brunson goes in. I believe he got his 53rd point there. And then Malcolm misses on purpose. Hart gets it. He gets fouled. Or I guess that was his 55th point. And Josh Hart connected there. And that was it. Beautiful. Beautiful. But one thing we need to see again is this. This was the moment where Jalen Brunson got his 49th and 50th points. Here he is. The left glove. The vicious lefty. The Brunson burner. The Punisher. Look at that. That Sarr has a 7'3" wingspan. And Brunson just froze him. Nice little screen by Hart. It's been a lot of pick and rolls with Josh Hart and Brunson as of late. Beautiful. Oh, I think I may have the volume up then, so I don't know if you could have heard me. But so here we go. New York Knicks 22-10. So, wow. That's a thing of beauty. We play the Wizards again. So the Knicks are hanging out in D.C. today. I imagine they didn't go back to New York. They come back then tomorrow for tomorrow's game against the Wizards. And then they play on New Year's Day. The last game of the 2024 calendar year is tomorrow against the Washington Wizards in Washington. They can pull that game off, which nothing's a given now, especially when you look at what happened last night. But I have a feeling with that extra day's rest, the Knicks, not extra day's rest, but with a regular day of rest in between, the Knicks will get back on that floor and totally take care of business. We'll get that 23rd win. And then on New Year's Day, the New York Knicks have a chance to get revenge on one of the worst losses they've had this year, which was against the Utah Jazz in Utah. Now we're hosting them at MSG. We've got to win that game. We pull that out. The Knicks will then be 24-10. And who knows what happens with the Celtics. The Knicks may even be in second place by that point. But then they have, on Friday, they're hosting the Oklahoma City Thunder. The best team in the NBA right now. Are they still the best team? Things change a lot over there. Let's see. Who has the most? No, the Cavaliers have the most wins. Cavaliers have the most wins. But yeah, let's get over here. Cavaliers have the most wins. Yeah, Cavaliers have the best record in the NBA. OKC has the second best. Celtics are third. Memphis and Knicks are tied for the fourth best record in the NBA. Yes, I love that. Look at that. And they have fought hard for this. They're shooting almost 50% from the field. Almost 50%. That is outstanding. Only the Cavaliers and Nuggets are better than them right now, and that's like by a 0.1 percentage right there. The 3% three-point shooting, the Knicks are still second best in the NBA. Actually, they're tied with the Bucks, but they have us ahead here for some reason. They're still one of the best free throw shooting teams. So the offense is outstanding. The problem is the lulls, and that results in runs for the opponents. And then the Knicks either have to figure out a way to stop the run and reclaim the lead, or sometimes they can't quite get it together, and then they allow another run, and then they're down by 15. And those are the things they have to avoid, especially against much tougher competition. And that's coming soon. The tougher competition is coming soon. The Knicks are playing. Well, one thing I want to show you guys here first. Look at this, the lead tracker. Look at it. The Wizards owned the first quarter, and they pretty much owned the last 14 minutes of regulation. But the Knicks started whittling it down, and that was all Jalen Brunson. Only one little 1-point lead here in that fourth quarter, but then OT was all about the Knicks. Look at the team comparison charts here. The thing of note here is the points in the paint. The New York Knicks had 78 points in the paint to 60 by the Wizards. That's a plus 18. So in that respect, that 25% three-point shooting didn't hurt us as much because of the efficiency in the paint. They owned it in the paint. That was really Brunson, honestly. And the 92.3% free throw shooting definitely helps. The Knicks connected on 24 of 26 free throw attempts right there. What's the other thing of note? The turnovers, considering it was an overtime game, 15 is not atrocious. And the rebounding was pretty much even, 43 to 44. It was nice to see Towns get back to his rebounding prowess. He picked up 14 rebounds tonight. He had a double-double, 30 points, 14 rebounds for him. And look at this, man. This is just something beautiful to behold. Except for this. This is what I'm talking about. 44 minutes for Brunson. Almost 47 minutes for McCall. 42 for OG. Almost 44 for Towns. That's alarming. And you think Precious only 19 minutes for him, but he had one of the most ferocious dunks I have seen this entire NBA season. It was a thing of absolute beauty. If you guys haven't, I don't have the highlight. They might have been in the highlight reel here, but if you don't, definitely check it out on YouTube or wherever. I'm sure people are posting it. Deuce struggled, 1 of 5 in his 19 minutes. Shamet only got 6 minutes. And Payne, maybe he's not feeling that great. He's been kind of nursing some kind of injury. Only 5.5 minutes for him. And this was the second game of a back-to-back, so we needed all of what Brunson could give us tonight. We needed his brilliance. He came through. He is the captain. We are so lucky to have him, and we are so lucky to have this team assembled the way they have been assembled. But we still need more. We need another piece on this team. It could be Landry Shamet begins to get more time, especially as the weeks tick by in January. And he starts delivering. And then at some point, the big Block Ness monster will be back. It's looking like it might not be until the end of January. That is a little distressing because it doesn't give you enough time to see what he can really give you before the February 6th trade deadline. I hope he can come back within the next 2 weeks. But he has not been cleared to go to play on the floor at all, to practice yet at all on the floor. So we're waiting to hear that. Maybe it could be coming any day. It could come in any day right now. All right, let's get back to here. I think we're going to wrap this up pretty soon. I mentioned Bridges with 21 points tonight. OG only 9 points. He's struggling offensively as of late. And same with Deuce. It could just be, a little wear and tear, too many minutes wearing these guys down, and coinciding with just, who knows what's happening with them. The plus minus, as I mentioned, OG was the only one. OG, the plus minus king of the Knicks, was a -2 tonight. And here we go. Here's the Wizards. Alexander Sarr was 12 points for him, but only on 3 of 10 shooting. 2 of 4 from the three-point line. The dude is long. He can hit the three. So he's going to develop. This is, I think he's a rookie. He's a rookie right now. Champagny ended up with 31 points for his career high on 13 of 15 shooting. 5 of 6 from the three-point line, 10 rebounds, a double-double for him. The best career, best NBA game of his life, but yet he was not the one who got the ball with a chance to win it for the Wizards in regulation time. Very, very curious there. Malcolm Brogdon, who will probably be traded before the end of the trade, probably be traded sometime in January. He played 30 minutes, 22 points for him, 7 dimes. He had a beautiful pass down low on a backdoor cut late in the fourth quarter there. That was a thing of beauty. So he can still bring something to a contending team. Could even be the Knicks, honestly. That kind of a piece could be the kind of piece we get. I mean, it would be interesting. Though I personally prefer someone a little bigger, but those guys are harder to get at this point. Koulibaly, defensive wizard himself, 18 points, 6 rebounds. I think Bub Carrington, is that his name? 17 points for him. You can see all 5 starters in double figures. And Keyshawn George, he even had an ode to Brunson at one point. He put the 3 fingers over his face when he hit a three-pointer. He was 3 of 7 from the three-point line and finished with 13 points. Corey Kispert, only 1 of 6 from the three-point line. That's because that's the Knicks really at one point started committing themselves to defending that three-point line, and Kispert is one of the best. Well, he is at any time he could go off on you. So that was great strategy to defend him that way. But they ended up shooting 44.7% from the three-point line. That's pretty, and 51.5% overall. Yikes. Let me see if there's anything here of note. We've already looked at all this. There we go. All right. So, just to put, for all those who have watched until this moment, I have a feeling unless Deuce and Precious can, Precious is shaking off rust. He still looks very rusty to me, even though that dunk was beautiful. It was his only bucket of the night. He did pick up 7 rebounds, which is nice, 2 of them offensive, and he got 2 assists, but he did commit 2 turnovers, silly turnovers. And Deuce, as of late, he is struggling a bit. Actually, let me pull up his stats here of late. McBride. Here we go. Because he is someone who is essential, because Thibs trusts him. But when he's not playing well, he's not playing well. It's hard to feature him. So he's shooting right now in the last 6 games only 33% from the three-point line and only 34.8% overall. But he's still a plus 5.7 in his plus minus. He's averaging 3.2 rebounds, 3.3 assists. That's not bad in 23 and a half minutes. That's not bad at all. But in terms of his actual efficiency, his efficiency numbers have taken a hit as of late. So he's got to shake through that. It might even be able to reach back further. Yeah, it might even be further on. Yeah, let me go over here. He's actually, let's see. Yes, actually in the last 11 games, Deuce McBride. You know what? Let's go back to here. Here we go. Hopefully you can see it. Last 11 games, this is Deuce McBride. He's shooting just under 36%. 36% overall from the field. 35.4% from the three-point line, which is not atrocious, but you need him to be at least league average. At least around 37% would be sweet. So that's a problem. That's a problem. We need him to shake that off, because the trade could happen, and it could involve Deuce and Achua. The reason I say that is because Cameron Payne gives you some of what Deuce gives you: the three-point shots, the ball handling, the playmaking, just the off the dribble, just three-point shooting. His defense isn't as good as Deuce's, obviously, but at least he gives you somewhat of what Deuce gives you. Precious, he's just looked rusty. The three-point shot has been very inconsistent, but he's a valued piece. He definitely could help another team. But if we could find somebody like someone that I'm thinking about is like a Trey Murphy, a guy like that. Now, we'll have to comb the NBA earth to find somebody like that who's available. But you never know. You never know when other teams need a third partner. Knicks could slip in there, and also Mitch might be a part of a trade. I'd like to avoid that right now. That's what I'd like to do. I want to see this team stay together a little bit longer, but guys have to prove it so that Thibs can trust them out on the court. So, Landry Shamet, we need you to have a big game for us. Deuce, we need you to wake up. And Precious, we need you to shake off that rust. And then we could really have something when we get Mitch back. All right, thank you so much for watching this. Again, my name is George. Please subscribe, hit the thumbs up button for me, and drop your comments. Definitely want to hear your thoughts and feelings about all this stuff. And tomorrow night, I will see you again. All right, I will see you around the Knicks-Verse.